You're listening to Puma Podcast.
Pag sinasabing psychiatric problem or mental health problem, there are three factors, no? Biological, psychological, and social environmental. So sa biological side, we have the meds, no? Kasi there's a dysregulation there. And sa psychological na part is more of the therapy, no? Either with the psychiatrist or the psychologist. And the socio-environmental is the family and support. Kaya meron ding family counseling. I asked to talk to the parents, the siblings, no? And if there are problems, if there are accommodations, kumbaga, sa environment. So, for example, in my clients, I would talk to parents, talk to the guidance counselor, kasi hindi lang po enough na one aspect lang. Kailangan tatlo po talaga siya. So, biological, psychological, socio-environmental, para buo po yung pag-heal ng bata.
In the Philippines, mental health often hides behind silence. A teenager struggling with anxiety may be told to just pray harder. A mother showing signs of depression may hear, "Kaya mo yan, malalampasan mo rin yan." And a survivor of trauma might never seek help, held back by the stigma of being labeled weak or unstable. But stigma is only part of the story. Even for those who want help, getting it isn't always easy. Most psychiatrists are concentrated in Metro Manila, leaving many rural provinces with few or none at all. The pandemic exposed this divide, but also accelerated a solution: telepsychiatry. Online consultations are now bridging distances, making mental health care more accessible across the country and even for Filipinos abroad. But access isn't only about distance or cost. It's also about language. In a nation of 185 languages, mental health terms do not always exist in the mother tongue, and when services are offered only in English or Tagalog, distress can remain unnamed, unspoken, and untreated. Yet language can also be a bridge. Speaking to someone in the tongue you grew up with can carry clarity and comfort. It can turn a clinical encounter into a moment of recognition, connection, and trust. In this episode, I am joined by Dr. Nueva Joy Perucho, a psychiatrist with InTouch Philippines, a leading provider of mental health services in the country since 1980. Born and raised in the Visayas region, she is fluent in English, Filipino, Bisaya, and Ilonggo, giving her a unique vantage point on how words, culture, and roots shape the way Filipinos understand and experience mental health. Dr. Perucho trained in psychiatry at the Southern Philippines Medical Center, where she became chief resident and now also serves as an educator, helping to train the next generation of mental health professionals. I am Hannah Grace, and you're listening to Teka Teka, powered by Puma Podcast.
Hi, Doc. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi.
So I believe you're currently in Butuan City, Agusan del Norte, right? Yeah. So can you tell us more about the work you do there and how you're affiliated in InTouch Philippines when you're actually based here in NCR?
Currently, I'm a private psychiatrist. I've been having online consultations since 2023 and have started with InTouch 2024. So as their consultant psychiatrist, I cater nationwide. I cater to their patients nationwide and even abroad. No, with Filipinos abroad, we also cater them. Currently in Butuan, aside from an mental health professional catering to telemedicine or telepsychiatry, I'm also a associate professor in Caraga State University as a teaching medical students. And also I have a face-to-face clinic here in Butuan City also.
So you say na ano pala, no? Online and also face-to-face yung clinics nyo. How do you see, for you, how different is the online and the face-to-face clinics? Does it affect yung efficacy or at least yung dynamics with you and your clients?
There is definitely a difference. I really welcome the the progress from face to face, uh, and going to online teleconsultations from the pandemic. It is a very welcome progress in terms of access. Well, I think the pros with telepsychiatry is that uh, the confidentiality and the privacy is very well kept. The patient can be at their own homes. They would be more comfortable, and rather than going to the physical clinic, they have to travel, traffic, and all that. But in terms of efficacy, you mean with it is a case to case basis. But with usual psychiatric illnesses, there the we can still diagnose, I mean, and treat either online or face to face.
You mentioned the word access, na lalo na during pandemic. It really helped uh give mental health services become more accessible, no?
Correct.
So, pandemic, kasi naalala ko lang na it was really a bad time mentally, health-wise for many people across the world. Pero ngayon sa Philippines, alam natin na lagi tayong may crisis na nangyayari. Like, just these past weeks, this past month, sunod-sunod talaga yung binabaha. Tawag dito, nagla-landslide. Ang daming sobrang nasalanta. And we know that when that happens, may crisis na nangyayari. We really need not just help sa the usual ayuda na binibigay, but mental health services. So, swak na swak yan sa this October. Kasi October, right, we mark the Mental Health Awareness Month sa Philippines along with the World Mental Health Day on October 10 mismo. So this theme, the year, pasok na pasok sa pandemic, post-pandemic, and then sunod-sunod na bagyo natin. Kasi the theme is mental health in humanitarian emergencies and supporting people in crisis, okay? So although you've mentioned it briefly, so how does this theme resonate in the Philippine context for you? And what do you think needs to be highlighted during this awareness month related to that theme?
I think na-mention mo din doon sa sa intro mo, Hana, no, that it's a Filipino culture to actually cope, no. There's a societal pressure na kapag dapat Filipino resilient, dapat kailangan kayanin lang, no. So I think we need more awareness campaigns to actually kasi parang may societal stigma, no. And there's also internal stigma with us Filipinos na dapat kayanin ko. So, we need more mental health professionals to advocate actually that we have to acknowledge that if we're feeling bad or we're feeling sad or we're feeling frustrated or disappointed, that we have to acknowledge and validate our own feelings and really voice that out. I see clients that they would endure a lot of stress and they won't tell their families about it, thinking that they would be burdened or they would be ashamed actually to tell their families that they feel this way because parang mahina ba ako that I feel this. So actually, I think isa yun sa marami pa tayong dapat gawin, to overcome this internal and external stigma towards mental health. And I think this should be highlighted kasi kung hindi yun siya ma-acknowledge, then the toll, kumbaga the mental toll on the individual will just rise and rise until they give up, and until they would say na wala siguro talaga akong lakas, or hindi ko pala talaga kaya. And this would result to self-blame, guilt, and in worst cases, it would continue to depression.
From what I'm hearing from you, ang mas barrier right now is not just the accessibility of support during crisis, but the everyday stigma that society places na nasa society pa ngayon. And we internally, as people, may internalized discrimination about mental health. So tayo mismo, hindi lang yung people around us saying na mahina ka pag hindi mo kinaya. Pero tayo mismo, we think na mahina tayo pag hindi natin kinaya. And you're
Yes.
saying na it's something we need to change. So as a mental health professional, of course, when you talk to your clients, you help them through that. But outside of the clinic, what do you think mental health professionals can do to increase more awareness or to, yeah.
Yeah. But just going back there a little bit, Hannah, no? If we say kasi na access, no? Just to separate there, no? Nasabi ko na parang mas natin ngayon na stigma, no? Kasi kung access lang, we have our phones now, we have internet. Kung free hotlines, we do have hotlines in the Philippines. We do have public hospitals offering free consultations, no? So, pero ang question natin, bakit wala pa din, no? Or bakit we still record high suicide rates, no? For example, January 2025 to June 2025, meron na atang recorded na 2,000 eh. So that's
Wow, in
high.
the
Yeah.
Philippines?
Yeah.
Oh
Oo.
my, that
In the
much.
past, it's usually ang average natin in the Philippines is 4,000 eh. 4,000.
Per
Nag-dip
year?
lang siya. Yes po. Post-pandemic, rise talaga siya 2021, 4,000. And then 2022, around 3,000. Pero hindi natin alam kasi may mga underreported pa. No?
Yes.
No. There are a lot of communities na due to religion or beliefs, no, it becomes underreported. So mataas talaga siya, na imagine 2,000 deaths, no. And yet when you come to think about it, yes, medyo konti talaga ang psychiatrists compared sa ratio ng population, but they are psychiatrists. And there are public hospitals and there are free hotlines. I think ilan na lang naman siguro sa communities natin yung walang internet, no. And actually the rural health centers have nurses and doctors who are trained also with MHGAP, no, that's a mental health na training module for doctors and nurses alike, wherein they can actually treat, no, diagnose and treat mental health disorders. Pero bakit ganun kataas pa din? So that's why I wanted to highlight that, kasi nga there's that stigma, no. Kahit tayo, every day I see clients na months na pala, years na pala before they actually seek consult. So, most often than not, yun yung scenario eh. Akala ko kasi kayang-kaya ko pa. No, until I started harming myself, na nasabi ko na ay hindi pala, no. So, as mental health professionals, we really have to continue psychoeducation campaigns. So, kung pwede na may mga IECs, no, yung mga educational campaigns, we can post it online, Facebook. Mas madali na ngayon yung reach, no? But we really have to work harder to encourage people to voice out their concerns, na walang masama sa pagiging sad, no, or feeling this way and that way. That na siguro you would no, parang kung titingnan mo, since the brain is an organ of the body, no? So kung nagkakasakit siya, kailangan din siyang patignan. Kung umuubo ka, nagpapatingin ka. Masakit may lagnat ka, nagpapatingin. Bakit naman hindi kung si brain may problema?
That's
So,
right.
parang siya, no, dapat normalize siya na you are seeking help for mental health concerns. Parang ganun.
That's right.
Kaso siguro pag yun din yung concern ko with face-to-face, no? Kasi pupunta sila sa clinic ni Doktora Perucho, baka makita ng kapitbahay, no?
That's true.
Or,
That's true.
or makita ng may kakilala ako doon na ganyan. Because the society, sad to say, meron pa din po talaga na hindi pa ready, kumbaga, ang society na tanggapin na mental health is an everyday concern.
So I never thought of it that way, na that's another aspect na yung online consults has helped pala, no, giving anonymity, and I think that's one of the things we can highlight sa mga tao in case nahihiya silang pumunta. Hey, there's an option. If you do it online, not only is it um, more convenient, but at least that's something to overcome yung hiya na nafe-feel nyo. But let's go back to the accessibility thing that you said. So sabi mo ngayon, ang dami na ngayong sa information. May Facebook, everybody's online, especially the younger generation. But we all know that it's said that depression and other mental health and emotional issues are rising sa younger generation. We don't know if why that is exactly. I know you do have ideas. And even suicide rates, I believe, have risen really significantly sa teenage population, which is really sad. So they say that it's because it could be academic pressure, it could be social media contributing to their deterioration of mental health. It could be economic challenges na na-experience ng family nila, and everything else na happening right now. So for you, for these kids, what do you think is contributing to that? And how can the families and schools play a better role in supporting them? Kasi talagang crisis na ngayon to no? Itong mental health crisis. It has reached that point.
Correct, no? I think there are a lot of things here, no? Actually, may yung mga matatanda ko na mga clients even, no? They would actually report that their mental health issues started when they were teenagers pa. Pero dahil lang na it wasn't recognized before, hindi pinayagan ng mother or parents na pumunta sa professional, or walang access at the time, so hindi sila nakakatch siguro no. So we can't really say na wala talaga before, no? Kasi meron naman, no? Na marami naman, no, na nagkakaroon ng mental health issues even when they were young, no? So yan, that's one, maybe underreported before, no? And then second, syempre, maganda na ngayon no? Yung sabi mo nga, may Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, marami ng access na, parang same kami ng symptoms nito. Parang ito din yung nararamdaman ko. So they identify, they relate to the symptoms that's being shown to them, and they seek early on, no? And of course, may mga genetics also involved na with depression, na baka dahil nga nag-rise ng depression and anxiety the generation before also nagta-translate din, no? Siguro another factor na I see is that yung instant gratification, no? They're very used that everything's in their fingertips. Malapit kung gusto ko nang malaman yung ganito ganyan, malaman ng bagong chismis sa showbiz, isang click lang nandiyan na. Kung anong gusto ko dapat nandiyan na, no? And then when they're faced sa real world scenarios where things can get time, matagal mo promote, they have to work this and that, 8 to 5 and all that, no? They become frustrated, no? They become frustrated, and yung mga feeling na yung mga na-identify nila before na there's so much expectation from their family and from themselves also. Nasabihin nila na ito kaya ko naman ito dati, no? I am this and that. And when they're faced with failures, frustrations, disappointments, na ano sila ba, mabigla sila na mali pala yung ko, yung pagtingin ko, no?
Ang taas ng ideals or expectations of yourself na I think meron talagang mga ganong personality. I can relate to that. But lalo ngayon at the age ng social media, kahit hindi ganun yung tendency mo lagi, madaming taong hindi naman ganun ka talagang perfectionist sana. So that's when we compare it to them, affect ka emotionally. And then with all of the other stressors, whether you're, of course, teenagers and youngsters are even more impressionable than adults, then it really contributes to the declining mental health. So, as a mental health professional, what would you say adults or the parents, let's go with for the parents and the teachers, schools, can do to help these teenagers, these kids?
Pag bata kasi, they can't separate yung ginawa lang nila sa personality nila, no? So, pag pinagalitan mo siya sa ginawa niya, they feel na sila yung may mali nila. Parang they project it to themselves, no? So, we have to be careful about our words. We can be firm in our discipline, but we don't have to yung parang ikaw, no? You put labels towards the child ba? Ikaw kasi tamad-tamad mo. Pero ang issue lang pala is yung paghugas ng pinggan. So, we have to, yung tawag nito, we have to be specific, no, about rules and to be firm about them. Pero hindi siya, it should be na doon sa action nila. Pero hindi sa kanila, no? So, we have to be careful about their words. We have to acknowledge, no? We have to acknowledge also kung may mga magaganda silang ginawa. No? So, you can appreciate this and that, and then, mag-firm pa din doon sa rules, no? That, and then siguro, time with our children, ito ata yung pinakakulang, no? Kasi nga, we're driven by a lot of things, no? Yung mga parents, kailangan, we have to earn this much, kailangan ganito. But there's no problem there. No, pero, we have to make sure na yung quality ng time sa mga bata, no, is there, no? Sometimes, no, yung mga bullying incidents sa school, they come unnoticed by both teachers and kasi sabihin ng bata, baka kasi pagod na kasi si nanay, ayoko na din na magsabi pa sa kanya ng ganito, ganyan, no? And yet they're very stressed about the bullying incidents in school. Sa teachers naman, siguro I think iba na din yung strategy, no? I'm an educator, but I teach, I teach. So, kung med school, usually 24, mga 24 to 30 ang range, no? Ibang-iba na talaga, no? Yung pag-teach sa akin noon, sa pag-teach ko ngayon, no? It's because na siguro ngayon ang mga bata, they want na skills, na nagpa-participate sila sa sarili nilang learning.
Mm-hmm.
No, iba na kasi dati na kung ikaw ang teacher, ikaw lang ang marunong sa klase.
Makikinig na lang kami at dapat tama ang sagot namin sa test.
Opo, oo. Kung bawal anuhin si teacher, bawal sabihan, oy, mali yung sinabi mo, no? So, it doesn't happen that way already, no? So, parang we're no longer the sage in the stage, no? But become the guide at the side. So, parang ganun din, no? Now, we would encourage students to read this and that, and then, hindi na po, yung puro tayo na lang ba, no? And then, we welcome, no? You welcome if they have inputs, they have insights, no? Mas gusto nila yan ngayon, no? Na they learn on their own, they have the opportunity to apply it on their own, they have the opportunity to ask the teachers without the teacher being offended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, somehow dapat yung psychological safety, no, sa classroom, no, na you're able to voice out your concerns, you're able to voice out your opinions without being judged na ay mali. No, or but this goes against the teachers, baka mali yung ito mapagalitan ako, no. So iba na siya talaga ngayon, no? And variety also, no? Aminado man tayo siguro na nung elementary, high school tayo, yes, nakikinig man tayo, pero minsan na yung attention natin, no? So, dati mga sundalo tayo pumapasok, no? I remember having to squat outside, yung mga pinapalo pa before ng stick, na parang 1 meter yung stick ng teacher, no? Pero ngayon, dapat involved sila, yun siguro, they have to be engaged with the learning process. You have to vary your teaching approaches para mas maano yung mga bata.
So I think parang your answers sobrang good reminder for me as a parent. Na parang okay, we do know that, but iba pa rin. And sometimes even though we know that time is important, unintentionally we name call and we put our kids down by pointing out hindi yung mali na nagawa, kundi kasi ikaw ba't mo to ginawa. So the nagging is not just about the nagging, but the putting down of that kid. So I like it that you're saying we have to be firm, but we have to find a way to say it na without putting our kids down. So I want to go back though to yung pinag-usapan natin kaninang about accessibility, because I think it's important that I talk to you about this kasi mas kaunti nga kayo na doctors who are that hindi bilingual. Ano ba? Anong tawag sa madami? Polyglot na lang. Hindi madaming alam. Multilingual. Ganyan. Yeah, 4 yung languages na alam nyo, diba? So, in this country, sobrang daming nating regional languages and dialects.
Yes.
And that is a problem. Kahit na sabihin mo pang madami talaga marunong mag-English, mag-Taglish, iba pa rin. May mga words. And then, of course, yung comfort and yung rapport that will be built, diba? So with your background and language skills, how does this help you connect? And how do you think is it important? How important is it na sa ating setting?
You know what? And just to share a little bit, Hannah, no? I spent 2 years in Tawi-Tawi as a municipal health officer. So I used to speak their language a little bit also.
Talaga? Ano bang language sa Tawi-Tawi?
Sama and Tusos. And then I also spent 3 years in Maguindanao. So I used to speak a little bit about their language also, no? Iba po kasi talaga, yung parang mas malapit siya sa puso, no? Kung they speak your own language, if the therapist or your psychiatrist speak the same language. So, especially when I was deployed in Tawi-Tawi and Maguindanao, hindi naman yan sila marunong. Most of them cannot speak, no, or express, no, yung kahit simpleng ubo lang, lagnat, hindi mahirapan sila magsabi pa. So it becomes a barrier to treatment, no. Every time I'm deployed into different places, I try as much as I can to learn talaga doon sa language nila. Kasi mas maka-express sila. I think you can become a very efficient doctor, no, or physician to them kung na-understand mo yung sa context nila, no, not just the symptoms. Kasi kung psychiatry kasi is not just a checklist, no. Asad siya, hindi siya makatulog, hindi siya ganyan, no. It's not the same as when treating pneumonia na obo, lagnat, ganyan, bigay na ako ng gamot, ox na tayo. No. In psychiatry, you have to understand the context of where the symptom is coming from.
Yeah.
No, bakit naiisip na nagigilty, no, or nasa self-blame? Saan ba nang gagaling, no? So they can speak very comfortably if it's in their language. May mga konteksto na iba sa Ilonggo, iba sa Bisaya, iba din sa Tagalog, no, because of the differences in culture. And knowing the core issue in psychiatry, no, ano ba yung pinaka-issue po talaga sa loob niya, yun yung ita-target mo in therapy. So if you miss that, bigay ka lang ng meds, baka hindi mo na-address yung root cause. No? You might address the chemical reasons behind it, kasi part of psychiatry, that's biological naman talaga, no? You can give meds, they can feel better, but to be able to connect and address their core issue, you really have to have a deeper understanding kung saan yun siya nanggagaling. So I see clients nga na outside of the Philippines, no? Mga OFWs natin sa Asia, UK, Canada, Australia, kasi they would seek that Filipino na kausap.
Yeah.
Oo, kasi even if they seek psychiatrists abroad, hindi pa din, hindi nakaka-connect siguro. Yun yung sinasabi nila, no? Hindi nakaka-connect kung hindi Tagalog speaking.
Yeah. And also the context of yung psyche, parang sasapik sa kanila, dapat kasi ganito. Hindi kayo ganito Pilipino kayo. Iba yung cultural roots mo and yung value system. So, ang hirap nga. So, again, the online support is so important for our OFWs din pala talaga. Kung naisip yan before. Yung na-mention kanina, Doc, siguro I think this is last na, is sabi nyo, so iba yung biological that we have to give meds to. And then you also said it's important na yung psychotherapy. So that's where the language really comes in. Kasi to be able to get to the root of the problem. Now, people, we know mental health, we can seek a lot of different professionals. But not everyone needs medication. So this is very important to know. When should people go to a psychologist, psychiatrist, life coaches, ang dami na yung kung ano-ano yung tawag, diba? And when, kung kahit friend mo or ganyan, when should we encourage people to go where? And especially since I think the taboo is even bigger pa talaga with psychiatrists. Kasi pag psychiatrist, sabihin nila, ay naku, may talaga yan, may problema talaga yan, kailangan psychiatrist na. Diba? Parang gano'n, ay ako may konti lang akong issue sa buhay, I'm just gonna go to a life coach. Diba? Parang gano'n. So, when should we go to which one?
Maraming entry points, no? I think for general counseling or therapy, specific therapies, no, na in-advise sa'yo, you can go for psychologists, no? Though the psychiatrists can offer that as well, no? Siguro a good entry point, siguro ang bantayan na lang natin is if there's already impairment in function. Yun siguro yung pinaka-ano doon, no? You can be sad kasi. You can be sadness, anger, frustrations. These are very normal emotions, no? But if these emotions already affect different aspects, no? Una, may problema na ba sa physical, no? Nagkakaproblema ba sa tulog? Nagkakaproblema ba si appetite, no? Kung either sobrang kain, no, or loss of appetite, no? Are there other problems with cognitive function? Nahirapan bang mag-concentrate sa trabaho? Bumababa ba ang productivity? No? Are there problems na sa well-being? No, na there's total shift, no? May social isolation na ba? Are there thoughts of self-harm? No? Or thoughts of yung parang escape, no? Na exit, parang ganon. And if there are problems na relationships, work, and so mental well-being ng tao, kailangan na po talaga magpatingin. Kasi pag sinasabing psychiatric problem or mental health problem, there are 3 factors, no? Biological, psychological, and social environmental. So sa biological side, we have the meds, no? Kasi there's a dysregulation there. And sa psychological na part is more of the therapy, no? Either with the psychiatrist or the psychologist. And the socio-environmental is the family and support. Kaya meron ding family counseling. I asked to talk to the parents, the siblings, no? And if there are problems, if there are accommodations, kumbaga, sa environment. So, for example, in my clients, I would talk to parents, talk to the guidance counselor, kasi hindi lang po enough na one aspect lang. Kailangan 3 po talaga siya. So, biological, psychological, socio-environmental, para buo po yung pag-heal ng bata. Kasi kahit anong bigay mo ng antidepressant, ibinubuli pala sa school. Oo. Ang taas-taas pala na, ang dami-dami naman pala talagang kailangan sa school. or may kaaway pala.
Yeah.
So, oo. So, hindi talaga siya mabuo yung treatment mo with just one aspect.
Mhm. Okay. So I think that's a good way to end this. Okay. So thank you, Doc. So to everyone out there, I hope you learned something from this. And if you think you need help, do seek help, please. If anyone around you needs help, we're going to drop numbers and websites for the Mental Health Institute, In Touch, and other hotlines that you can reach out to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. Seek help, and we hope you learned something from this.